Okay, so some of the first things that everybody thinks of when they think of bushcraft is, well, batoning. So I don't really baton too much. If anything, maybe like stop cuts, you know, for notching or something like that. But usually not batoning firewood, and especially with a smaller knife. Okay, I'm just gonna do this right here for you. So these hunting knives for bushcraft, I mean, one of the things that they do lend themselves well with is the fact that they they're heavy hunters. They're thick. They're heavy hunting knives. You know, I'm not reviewing the sharp finger or the 102 from Buck. You know, I've reviewed the Puma Stag Bowie, the Buck 119, the Blackjack Model 125, and so all of these knives are heavy hunters. They're thick spine, they're thicker ground, and for myself, I feel that they lend themselves very, very well in camp. And usually, that is where you're doing most of your cutting tasks. So, well, I guess we can. So, things like this, you know, the woodsman's toolkit, hatchet, obviously. But having a knife that you know will take things down like that and take them down readily if you need them to do that. I like that. I like that a lot. As I said, rarely do I find the actual need as well to, you know, have wood, you know, breaking down wood to this degree. Usually all of this stuff is found, you know, in the forest. So another thing that, you know, bushcrafting wise, that is a necessity is the ability to feather stick, shave wood, right? And as you can see, if I can go head on with you here a little bit, this will be a little bit easier for you. But as you can see, there's really no issues with any of that happening. A lot of people might say, oh, well, the blade, you know, is too far away from your hand, you know, the start of the blade, because that choil is there. Some folks don't particularly care for the choil because you could obviously have, you know, the blade come down to here. Many people view this as a waste of space, having that choil there. Doesn't bother me at all. Same with the guard. Now these are the things that a lot of people, right, are talking about not having a guard on your bushcraft knife. Guards don't really bother me. You know, it's just one of those things. You know, everybody has their preference. My preference, I really, really enjoy using heavy hunting knives because their applications for other projects seem to be better for me. They are, these knives cut and slice a lot of different things better than your traditional bushcraft knife. When everybody thinks of a bushcraft knife, they think of that, you know, the quintessential bushcraft knife, right? Something like the Woodlore or the Skookum Bush tool, the Mora, you know, things like that. Scandi ground knives, I find, once we start approaching anything over 1/8 of an inch for sure, become so thick, and that stock thickness with that grind thickens up so fast on that knife to cut any like harder media that is more than just shallow cuts. I find that those knives aren't really too impressive. The amount of times that I need to shave wood to get feather sticks is not often. And when I do, I use a jackknife. So, but however, saying that, I do like the fact that my belt knife can do it. Does my belt knife do it as well as a Woodlore or a Mora? No, probably not. But it does it, and it does it passable enough that I can walk out the door with just this on and a small folding saw, we'll say, and I would be fine. You know, I would be able to do whatever I needed to do, you know, to affect a camp. You're not going to hurt this knife at all. It's a very thick knife, stout knife. There's a lot of steel there. A lot of steel. This knife, obviously, you know, having that lower grind with that thicker blade doesn't allow it to do food prep as well as some of the other knives that I have reviewed for this series, the hunting knives for bushcraft. The Blackjack Model 125 and the K-Bar Navy knife that I reviewed for this series are really amazing performers in that. This is a heavier duty knife than those two. Those two, however, I still feel qualify as heavy hunting knives. Okay, so just to sum these things up, you know, we've got a nice carry platform here with a nice ability to carry this knife, and for it to serve all of these different purposes, from food prep to wood prep, fire prep, if you will, and even shelter craft. Excuse me for being out of view. Even shelter craft and those things are perfect, for me at least. Now, the fact that these heavy hunting knives do all of these things very well, as I said, the woodsman's toolkit. You know, you should have other tools that maybe are a little more task specific. You know, I feel that with a heavy hunting knife, I can make shelter poles if I need to. We're talking emergency situation. I can also do fish and game, all those types of things, food prep, and it serves very well. Very utilitarian knife, rather than a one-trick pony, if you will, where you start getting a little bit more specialized with grinds and knives in general. Thanks for watching. I'm going to have more on this knife. Take care.